Hey guys, this is Lunch Money Comics. My name is Mike, and this is the largest flea market in the United States of America. Let's go find some comic books. All right, first things first. Jeff from Michigan in his comic book truck. What's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
Good to see you. You brought some more comics this time?
I did. It's all fresh load again. Ready there for the pickings.
And I hear you have a lot of X-Men you brought for me this time?
I did.
All right, I gotta dig in, guys. Can't go through too fast because people always complain I go too fast.
I'm trying to find that stuff. It's definitely in here.
I'll dig it up at some point.
Carl, have you seen that X-Men?
I thought it went well.
X-Men over here? All right. Oh yeah.
Image too. And should be another. There's another short. Plus other X-Men too that.
Gotcha.
What's the odds of finding a 181 in here?
You can find a 181?
Yeah.
I would highly
Pretty sure Jeff would have found that one.
A bunch of X-Men over here too.
All right, perfect.
All vintage.
Head over.
All bronze. One of these days I'll bring out the silver stuff. I'm not ready to do that.
Oh, that's what I want.
I know you do. Want to give them a call?
It's in pretty beat up shape. Cool cover. Okay.
Picked up a first man bat.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Tag sale.
Really?
Yeah. But the guy knew. He knew.
Oh, he knew what it was? Fresh rose. Got some early Captain Marvels. These are great. Oh, Calculator Man. The Calculator. Love dumb villains. A bunch of great Moon Knight covers. That's pretty cool. Is this first Sharon Ventura as Ms. Marvel? I think it is. Okay, Dazzler #1. Not in great shape, but oh, that's a great comic cover. I need that. Heck yeah. Big run of Avengers here, and they're priced pretty good.
12 and 13.
Oh, right here.
With a cameo appearance in Howard the Duck 12 and close full appearance.
Oh yeah. Classic. Second Monica Rambeau. Cool. All right. 2 big sacks of comics for me, some friends, some gifts. We got a deal, Jeff?
Yep.
Thanks, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Mike.
Thanks so
Good
much.
seeing you, my friend.
Okay, we got to walk back to the car because I have a gigantic stack of heavy comic books, and then we will resume our comic book hunting for the day.
But I just wanted to be there and talk to people.
Always gotta check the comic books. What are the prices on all these?
Most of the stuff is like 1 to 5.
I see that 50 bucks. That's
Yeah.
incredible stack. Yep.
Stop back in Thursday morning. I might have. Oh, I gotta work. Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, he's got awesome looking stuff here. That is interesting.
For the but any of that stuff over there, you talk to Mark in the back.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nice bow. Alright, I'm gonna go through these a little closer.
People from Long Island.
Oh yeah. Okay, oh. Some comics. Hey, action number 1, just laying there. I'll have to actually dig through this a little bit more carefully. What do we got? Oh, that's a great Swamp Thing right there. Hey, look at that.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster.
What's the price on that one?
This is 150. Yeah, this is first. Yeah, these are all keys. I mean, this is first sort of Justice League Dark preview. This is the first Squadron Sinister. You see this second Bullseye? Second appearance of Bullseye. You want 131 is the one you want. These are sort of keys in here. Great book, but too much money for 100. But great looking book. Once again, despite the fact it's September in New England, it is really hot. It's going to be a heat wave and be in the 90s today. And it's early in the morning and I'm sweating already. Good times. Awesome. Oh boy. There's a lot there.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to help out every once in a while and stuff with them. Because I guess like he does it every Saturday.
All right, I need 2 hands for this one. Any good Marvel cards in there? Weird stuff. Oh. Never seen these before. These are all different like, first covers. Yeah, these are pretty cool.
You know, there's so many different, unless you have some serious,
It's sort of fun.
so many variations. A ton of comics, man. We get out the retro jump.
Shit, First Sentinel's just sitting in there. Oh man.
Cars are one thing, you know anything about.
There's M'Baku.
Too busy. They have like too much going on in them.
No, and you're welcome. Take care.
Yeah, is it busy today?
That's a great book.
It is.
And this I just picked up the other day.
Oh yeah.
It was just
Good,
1945.
oh,
nice
yeah.
and,
That's
nice
amazing.
and
Actually,
early.
wow.
And
A little bit of
2.
chipping, but still.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame.
You giving this to me, Doug?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a gift.
thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you so much. Some Neil Adams Spectre. Can't say no to that.
Fish that look American flags.
We got a bunch here. Oh yeah, it's a lot of X-Men today.
Miss Marvel #1.
Let's just go for it. Which one? Oh, yeah, yeah. Did you check the spell? What do you have on the Gambit? He does. These are in the bag. Yeah, Jeff loves these. These are the Whitman. Huh. All right, guys, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm really, really hot. I saw still a fraction of this flea market. It is just too big, but that's okay because I'm coming back at least one more time. Still, I got a pretty big stack of comic books. Let's go home and I'll show you everything that I got today. So there you go. That was the last Brimfield Flea Market of 2023. And even though there are lots more flea markets in New England over the fall, that was the last time I get to go to this one until next year. And because of that, I made the most of my day there. I spent the entire day hunting for comic books with my buddy Dave from Bell City Comics. And I have 2 huge stacks of comics to show for it. Now, that being said, believe it or not, I ended up cutting out something like 35 minutes of footage from this video. That's how big this place is, how many comic books I actually saw. There were whole vendors I cut from the footage in the interest of time. And I know there's some out there who would love to watch an hour-long video of a guy hunting for comics at a flea market. But I think most people don't have the attention span for that. I know I certainly don't, and it would be way too hard of an edit even for me. So I ended up cutting a lot of footage. With all that being said, I have a lot of comic books to go through. If you like this sort of thing and you want to support the channel, head on down, like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. And of course, follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. So what better place to start than the very beginning? The first person I went to was Jeff from Michigan and his truck full of comic books. I've mentioned to him in every video I've done on Brimfield this year. He bought a collection years ago. He loads up the truck, comes to Brimfield, and I love going through his comic books, guys. He brings different stuff every single time. You never know what you're gonna get. And I wasn't just shopping for myself. I was actually shopping for a buddy of mine as well. So I'm gonna go through all of my comic books first, and then all the ones I got from my friend. I gotta mention one more thing. People always say this. They look at the price tags and they're like appalled. They're like, wow, it's so expensive. I can't believe what they're charging. It doesn't matter what the price tag says. It's what you get them for at the end. And trust me, I got these for far less than what the sticker price on these were. I'll tell you what I paid for everything at the end. So I'm gonna go through these quick, all right? And I have not looked at these since I brought them home. Haven't done any research or anything, so I'm gonna wing it. So bear with me. Let's start with X-Men. I love the X-Men. I'm still chipping away at my X-Men run. Some of these are new that I needed. Most of them are duplicates or better condition ones. But let's start with this awesome one. This is the Uncanny X-Men number 111. And I love this cover, guys. It sort of shows all the X-Men almost as like circus freaks with Arcade right there. Very cool. It's not in great shape. I'm definitely going to want a better copy of this at some point. But I'm very happy to get this one now, because it's one of that early run comics that I absolutely needed. So happy to pick it up in any condition. All right, let's go through these quick. We have number 155, great cover there. Number 226, this might be the adversary. That might be the villain in this one. Not entirely sure. Number 235, not sure if there's any key significance here. This one definitely is a key though. This is number 248. And the reason why this one's notable is that this is the first X-Men comic done by Jim Lee. Jim Lee, of course, went on to huge X-Men fame in the early 90s, became like a celebrity artist. This is the first time he worked on the X-Men title. Very cool. Next, we have a cool Havoc cover here, number 249. We have number 253. We have number 257, this cool Wolverine. I believe that's Psylocke in her new costume at the time. Excellent Wolverine cover right here, Jim Lee cover. Very cool. Another Jim Lee cover of Psylocke and Wolverine and Jubilee. Pretty awesome. This might be the first appearance of Hardcase and the Harriers. I think that's right. All right, that was it for the X-Men books. Let's jump into some of the other ones here. Like I said, guys, there were so many comic books that I wanted. I had to draw the line somewhere. and these are the ones I ended up with. So we have the Avengers number 227. I believe this is the second appearance of Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel. Her first appearance was in a Spider-Man annual. This would be her second appearance, and she joins the Avengers team. And while I was reading the Avengers, guys, when I was real little, like in the late 80s, she was actually the leader of the team. So I thought that was pretty cool. Happy to pick this up. I am a Monica Rambeau fan. Next up, I always mention how I'm a fan of Deadman and the Phantom Stranger, all of those dark DC characters. Well, here you go. You have DC Superstars number 18, a team-up of Deadman and the Phantom Stranger. Look at this cover. Fantastic cover. I was very happy to find this one and pick it up. Next up, we have a Thing comic book. The Thing had his own series in the 80s that he headlined himself. And this one here, I believe, is the first appearance of Sharon Ventura as the new Ms. Marvel. She took over the Ms. Marvel title from Carol Danvers. But a lot of people know Sharon Ventura as She-Thing. For a while in the 80s, she was actually a female Thing. She had some experiment done on her. Whatever it was, she turned and she looked just like the Thing, pretty much. And she actually joined the Fantastic Four. But this is her first appearance as the second Ms. Marvel. Cool looking comic book. Next up, I think most people know what this one is. This is the New Avengers number 7. This is a Brian Michael Bendis storyline. This is the first part of the Sentry storyline. I have the trade paperback of the story. It's really good. I like the Sentry. Fascinating character. But this particular book here is also the first appearance of the Illuminati. You know, like the smartest guys in the Marvel Universe. You have Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Namor, Black Bolt, Professor X, all these guys in a super smart team kind of pulling the strings of the whole world. I think a lot of people saw an iteration of that team in the second Doctor Strange movie. This is their first appearance in this comic book. Had to pick it up. It was really cheap. This next one's very interesting. This is the Micronauts number 1. Now, the Micronauts were a team of characters that could go into the Innerverse. Basically, kind of like, think of like the Quantum Realm from the Ant-Man and the Wasp movies, except before all of that was a thing. This came out in 1978, and they were very popular and have a pretty good cult following. This is the first issue, the first appearance of the Micronauts. Not a book I've ever needed to have, but the reason why I got this one is it's in incredible shape. It's almost perfect. I've never seen one this good. It's a white cover. It's always stained. I was happy to pick it up. Again, ignore the price tag on it. It's not even close to what I paid for it. So happy to get one of these finally. Next up is a character that's been in the news a lot lately. This is Dazzler number 1. Dazzler being the X-Men superheroine that can use her voice to make like light effects and stuff. Started off as sort of a disco-themed character in the 80s. They made her sort of a punk rocker, you know, changed her while music was changing. And yeah, her first appearance was in X-Men number 130, and this is her in her first ongoing series. The reason I got this is it's a fantastic cover. Look at this. It's a painted cover by Bob Larkin. Beautiful cover. Has a couple of my favorite characters on here, Nightcrawler and Spider-Man. Couldn't pass it up, guys. It's not in the best shape. It was loose in the box, but still very happy to add it to the collection. This next one's very interesting. I'd never seen it before, and when you see a book you've never seen before, guys, sometimes you just have to get it. This is Elvira's House of Mystery number 1. It's a DC publication from 1986. Now, Elvira is sort of like a gothic scream queen type character with a big cult following. I don't know if this is her first appearance in comic books. I doubt it. But a lot of people like her a lot. I've never seen this book before. It was relatively cheap, so I had to pick it up because it was new to me. And I was a little disappointed. I did take it out of the bag to look at it, and it is stained. There's some water damage in the corner here. It's kind of like bubbly, and the stain does go through the book. So I'm a little disappointed there, but still, it's a cool looking book, and I'm sure there's some Elvira fans out there that could tell me a lot more about this. But hey, if you've never seen it before, guys, pick it up. Here's kind of a girly book. I'm not a big collector of, like female covers. Don't get me wrong. But the reason I got this is because of the artist. This is Sheena, Queen of the Jungle in 3D. And the reason I got this is that this is a Dave Stevens cover. Dave Stevens is known mostly for creating The Rocketeer, but he was a fantastic artist. He was really good at, doing pinup girls, and doing lots of like World War II type things. Fantastic artist that unfortunately died too young and left us way too early. And he was just one of the best artists, absolutely, of the 80s. So happy to pick up a Dave Stevens cover whenever I can get it. I have a lot of friends who are really into him. I do also want to point out that I recently watched a documentary on Dave Stevens on Amazon. It's called Drawn to Perfection. If you haven't checked it out, absolutely watch it. If you're a comic book fan, you have no excuse. Definitely go check it out if you have Amazon Prime. Happy to get this one. This is a 3D book. It comes with glasses that you could wear. This one did not come with the glasses, but I do own another copy of this that has the glasses. So pretty cool. I got it for the cover. Fantastic looking book. And this last one is a really silly one. I'm just going to show it to you. This is David Cassidy. This is a comic book by Charlton Comics. And the reason I got this one is my mom is the biggest David Cassidy fan of all time. She loved the Partridge Family show that he was in, and he became a musician and singer in his own right. My mom absolutely adored David Cassidy. And if you can't buy a comic book for your mom at a flea market, what can you do, guys? So I had to get this for her. Mom, this is coming to you. That is the only reason I got this book. Pretty neat, though. So these are all the comic books that I got from Jeff, this big stack here, and I got all of these for $100 US. Pretty good deal for all of these. Obviously, if you added up the sticker prices, it's something much, much higher than that. He gave me a great package deal for all of these. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. But if he gave me a good deal, he gave a really good deal to my buddy I was getting these comic books for, because let me show you this stack. These are what I got for my friend. He gave me a couple $100 to pick out Amazing Spider-Man books, X-Men books, and Spawn, and this is what I ended up with. So let's dig into these now and show you what I got. So let's start with some Amazing Spider-Man books. My friend told me he wanted ASM from like the 80s into the 90s. But this first one is definitely older, and I could not pass it up for him. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 4. It's from the late 60s, maybe 67. And you can see why I didn't pass it up, guys. It was listed at $8. I got it for less than half of that. You have Spider-Man and the Human Torch. Fantastic Silver Age Spidey book. It's not in the best shape. It's got, some tears right here, but still very cool book. Could not pass that up. Now we have a whole bunch of stuff from the 80s. Let's just jump into it. We have ASM number 205. Cool Black Cat cover there. We have number 233 with the tarantula. We have number 249. Now, these next three all have to do with the Hobgoblin. I think this is the Roderick Kingsley Hobgoblin. This is number 249. This might be the first appearance of the Kingsley Hobgoblin. Let me know down in the comments if that is right. But very cool looking with the Kingpin looming over the back. I also have the next issue, fantastic cover of Spider-Man fighting the Hobgoblin. And then the issue after that, I think Kingsley dies. I'm not sure. Maybe this is the death of this version of Hobgoblin. Let me know down in the comments, but very cool. I'm happy that I could get like all three of these like in a storyline. Very cool. Next, we have the Amazing Spider-Man number 253. This is the first appearance of The Rose, who is Wilson Fisk's, Kingpin's son. Pretty neat. Next, we have ASM number 269. We have Spider-Man in the black suit fighting against Fire-Lord. Jumping way ahead here to the 90s, 1991, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 350. This is a, Eric Larson cover. A lot of people love the Eric Larson Spider-Man from the early 90s. I know it brings me way back. Everyone knows what this book is. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 365. Very cool hologram cover for the 30th anniversary, but also, most people know this is the first appearance, kind of Spider-Man 2099 Miguel O'Hara. People say that because there's a preview of Spider-Man 2099 number 1 in this book before it came out. So we don't always count previews as first appearances, but still, he's in it. It's a cool looking book anyways. Had to pick it up. So now I have a Spawn book. My friend wanted me to find Spawn number 1s. And Jeff told me he had like hundreds of these back in his warehouse. He didn't bring any this time, but I did find this book, which is notable. This is Spawn number 8, and the reason why this is notable is because of the pose that Spawn is in. This is a very iconic Todd McFarlane pose that's been homaged by many different artists over the years, but it's been homaged by none more than Todd McFarlane himself. I think a lot of people know Spider-Man number 1 when he took over the Spider-Man series. Same exact pose. So it's always ripped on. I had to pick this one up for that reason. All right, now my friend likes X-Men as well, so here's a whole bunch of X-Men comics. I'll go through them quick so we don't just have all X-Men today. We have number 150. I believe this is a little bit of Magneto's backstory. Same book that I ended up getting a little while ago. Number 156. Got the Corsair on the front. Excellent Dark Phoenix cover in number 157. We have number 166, which is the first appearance of Lockheed, who is Kitty Pryde's dragon. We have number 167. We have number 169, first appearance of the Morlocks and Callisto, I believe. Number 197, we have some Dr. Doom on the cover here. We get the first appearance of Firestar in continuity in number 193. We have the first appearance of Rachel Summers as the Phoenix in number 199. Great Sentinel cover in 202. Kind of a funny cover here, number 219. This is when Havoc joins the X-Men team formally. Number 229. Number 241, which is part of the Inferno storyline with Madeline Pryor on the cover. Very iconic Wolverine crucified on the X book I recently purchased myself. Number 254, showing some of the different members of the X-Men team in matching uniforms. Number 255, the Death of Destiny. You see being held right there by Mystique. Number 259, and a rather famous book here. Number 268, famous Jim Lee X-Men comic showing Wolverine and Captain America and Black Widow fighting back in World War II. And I recently heard that Chris Claremont is planning on doing a modern sequel to this storyline. So it's coming out very soon, as a matter of fact, at the time that I'm filming this. So I look forward to reading more about Wolverine and Captain America's exploits during World War II. So again, I got all these from my friend, from Jeff, from Michigan, with a truck for $200 for all of these, which I think is a fantastic deal. Jeff, thank you so much for giving us a great deal. Like I said, guys, we added it all up. His price was like $800 in comic books, and he came way down. So once again, Jeff, I can't wait to see you next year. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff you bring in the spring. But of course, Jeff wasn't the only vendor selling comic books at this flea market. It is the largest in America, after all. We found lots of people selling comic books, just no one had as many as him, or they were really overpriced. So despite the fact we hunted for the whole day, I only ended up with another half dozen or so comics. But these next two I got from a vendor who I think I cut from the footage. He had lots of comic books, but they were all overpriced and they weren't in great shape. Like, a lot of them were water damaged. But when he saw me going through his boxes, he mentioned he had a box under the table with better stuff he hadn't priced yet. He let me look through it, and yeah, there was better stuff, but it was all way too overpriced. We were too far apart, but there were two comic books I was able to get from him, and here they are. Two Werewolf by Nights, number 17 and number 22. Neither of these are in good shape. There's lots of color breaks. Number 22 is in much better condition, and it's definitely the better cover. I think it's a Gil Kane cover. I really like these sort of gothic horror characters in Marvel from the Bronze Age, like Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night. If I can find them affordable, you know, pick up a couple of non-keys at a cheap price, I love doing so. And that's exactly what we did here. I was able to get these for $5 each, and even that was a struggle to get them to go down that low. Still, always happy to pick these up, had to add them to the collection. This next book I got from a vendor you definitely did see in the footage. He was a guy from Connecticut. He had lots of vintage toys and lots of comic books. In fact, you saw that was the vendor that had the first appearance of Mary Jane on the cover. Also the first appearance of the Sentinels, early X-Men. Both those books I really wanted, but they were kind of damaged and they were a little pricey. But I found this book. I was able to get it for a pretty fair price. Here it is. This is Secret War, number 1 of a 5-part storyline by Brian Michael Bendis. I've talked about this series on my channel in the past. Each one of the issues in this short series has a different character, one main character on the cover. I have all the other ones. I did not have the first one featuring Spider-Man here. Art by Gabriel Del Otto. Had to pick up this book. You see he had it listed at 15 bucks. I got it for 10. I think that's a fair price for a book in good condition like this. This next one, guys, I always talk about how I don't get into speculation. I'm not one of those people who buys a book hoping it's going to go up in value, unless it's a book I can get for like $1 or $2, and that's what happened here. Here we have Superior Iron Man number 1. This is the first appearance of the Superior Iron Man suit right here. The reason why this has been in the news for years, honestly, is because there are rumors that Tom Cruise, one of the original people that almost played Tony Stark instead of Robert Downey Jr., might be coming to the MCU as an alternate version of Superior Iron Man. They've been talking about it forever, guys. He was rumored to be in, Multiverse of Madness and all that. Whatever. I'm not going to spend a lot of money for this book. I found it for $2. Totally happy to pick it up. I mean, worst case scenario, guys, it's a cool looking cover. So there you go. That's about as much spec as you're going to see in Lunch Money Comics too. These next two comic books I got from a vendor who had lots of comics, actually. Very decent ones, and they were priced pretty good. And he gave me a great package deal on both of these. The first one is this. This is The Eternals #2, famous Jack Kirby creation. I know a lot of people didn't love the movie, but still, the Eternals, I think, are a cool comic book franchise, and there's lots of key appearances and distinctions in the early issues of this run, and this is the second issue in the first appearance of the Celestials. So pretty cool. It was only listed at $4. I got it for $2. So pretty good. It's in not great shape, but I was happy to pick this up for $2. And that was packaged together with this one. This is Madame Xanadu #1. Her first appearance was in Doorway to Nightmare #1, a book I recently got. I really like her because she's not only in Justice League Dark, she's one of the characters that put the team together. This is her first issue of her first ongoing series. Excellent, excellent art. He had it listed as $12. So I got both of these for 10, right? So I basically got them for 8 and 2. Happy to pick both of these up for that price. So the last book I want to show you was one that was actually gifted to me. You saw it in the footage, and it's this. This is the Spectre #3, awesome Neil Adams Silver Age cover. Why was this given to me? Well, the guy who gave it to me is named Doug. He is a vendor that's been going to Brimfield for years, and he specializes in old paper, in magazines, newspapers, posters, and of course, comic books. And in fact, he has a ton of like Western and funnies comic books. That's sort of what he specializes in, but of course he has DC and Marvel as well. I bought many books from him over the years. I always show him in my videos, and every time I've spoken with him, I've told him that I have a YouTube channel, right? I'm filming the whole time. And, you know, he's acknowledged what I said many times, but I don't think he ever actually watched it. Well, the last time I was there over the summer, I think I was talking with someone in the tent about the channel and mentioning that Doug was in several of the videos. That was the time he actually thought about it and actually made a point to actually go watch the channel, because when I saw him this time, he stood right up and he said he is a fan of the channel. He finally got to watch it. He really, really likes it. And he handed me this. He knows from watching my videos, I love the Spectre. I love Neil Adams. And he had this one put aside for me. How cool is that? Doug, you are a gentleman and a scholar. And I'm sure I'll be buying plenty of books from you at Brimfield for years to come. Thank you so much for this. Very generous of you. And it's really appreciated. So there you go. It is with a somewhat heavy heart I say goodbye to Brimfield for the year, but I definitely made my last time count. I got all of these comic books in one day of hunting, and all the comic books I got for myself, I got for a grand total of $130. And there's definitely some good ones in here I'm very happy to add to my collection for that price. And like I said, guys, even though this is the end of Brimfield for the year, there are plenty of flea markets in New England over the fall. So look for some of those videos coming out in the weeks ahead. In the meantime, I hope you keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.